Duty there wasn't that bad. We were, when we first got there, we were taking 3 25-mile hikes a week, every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. We were taking those long hikes, and sometimes with full field equipment. And of course, we trained on the moors. You've heard of the moors of England? That's where water runs uphill, you know, and the fog gets so thick you can't see your hand in front of your face. The dampness all the time. The hounds of the Baskerville. Of course, we had been training, you know, all over England in the different phases of combat duty, you know. Because what is Army life but during those days but teaching you to kill, right? In all phases of Army life. How to shoot a rifle, how to use your bayonet, how to...
My company was a point company going into Normandy. We were the lead company, you know. First, I was on the 3rd plane to cross the coast. And I was supposed to help throw the equipment bundles out. And I was standing in the door flying across, and it was picking up sea spray. That's how low we were. Crossing but they were doing that so they could stay under the radar. And we'd hit the ships, and we'd, you know, come up a little bit. There was so much ack-ack and small arms fire. In fact, there's one guy shot in the foot before we jumped. But it was just like the tracers going everywhere, and you just look at it, you just want to get out of that airplane, you know, because there was no place to be. Well, I think we jumped around 400 feet, 300 to 400 feet.
My rifle won't work, so and nobody else has got a weapon that would fire. So I took my assault jacket off and spread my raincoat to clean my rifle. And there was bullet holes all in my raincoat. It was while I was running across. You know, I was all bent over, and I guess they were machine gun bullets. And it just about tore the pack off my back. Caught her breath, and I finally did get my rifle so it would fire. And I guess we either were there 15 minutes at the seawall. And I told McCandless, Galgary, and Williams that I'm going to the base of the bluff. Come on behind me. Keep separated. But
in June the 9th, we hit Utah Beach. Don't forget, I was a replacement then. I wasn't tied up with any division or anything. That was the bad part. The bad part was when we did join the division, which was the 83rd Infantry Division. I didn't know anybody. You're a lost soul. Believe it or not, it's an awful feeling. So we're walking towards the front in the ditch, in the hedgerows. All of a sudden, I hear this big thud, like the ground shook.
And there was a large field off to our right, maybe 200, 300 yards across, and then a small hill went up on the other side. On our left, and this was a flat field, there was no hedgerows in that field. On our left, on the left of the road, there was hedgerows everywhere. And we remember coming out of that field and saying to myself, this looks like ambush territory. And we must have been at that time 200 yards ahead of the scouts. There was nothing between us and the Germans but some air. And about the time we did that, they had machine guns on each side of the road, crisscrossing that road. And they pinned everybody down in the ditches, and as soon as they got down, then they had a mortar company behind them, and they started putting the mortars down the ditches. And it didn't take me long to figure out that you know, staying where I was not the best thing to do. So
on the outskirts of St. Lo, it was our job, the 29th Division, to capture it because it was a communication center. When I mean communication center, it was a road network. And we couldn't crack that thing for a squat.
We couldn't. We tried everything. Every regiment, every platoon, all the artillery and everything else. We demolished that town. And we were all, the front lines was all on the outskirts, and at this time I was up there with the front lines. And as soon as after all the artillery and so forth, as soon as they tried to make a penetration, nothing. They'd be firing at us. They'd come out of the ground.